In university, whenever you do an assignment that required you to gather information or do any sort of research, you are expected to cite that information either with in-text citations, footnotes, or a references page, or combinations of the three. There's a common misconception from high school that as long as you're paraphrasing or writing things in your own words, you don't necessarily need to cite things, but that is completely untrue. In university, anytime you're looking up information from another source, you're expected to provide that source for your information. If you're unsure about what constitutes plagiarism or doesn't constitute plagiarism, there are a number of resources from the Student Success Center. They have writing instructions there. The library has plagiarism guides and references guides, and you can always ask your instructors if what you're doing is okay or not. In terms of this class, because we're a science-based class, you should use APA format. You're not required to do in-text citations or footnotes in any of the HTML assignments because those are just rather difficult to implement in HTML. But you should still have references pages on your assignments using a proper citation format. When you cite a web page with APA, it should follow a format that looks something like this. You'll have your author of the web page's last name, their first initial, period. In parentheses, you'll have the year published, comma, the month and day, period here. In italics, you have the title of the article or page, period. Site of the organization name, and the uniform resource location or the address, which is this here. So citing this page, for example, the author's last name was Blewett, comma D. They did the work 2021, August 15th. This is called a web reference. It was done for the University of Regina, and this is the URL. You may find a citation generator like this one below helpful. If you have one that you prefer to use, you can use whatever citation generators you like. This one does the bare minimum. The Dr. Archer Library has a large catalog of books and journals that you can search online, reserve and pick up from the library, and use for your research. The link to that can be found here. If you ever want to search for a book reference for your research, all you have to do is type in a topic or the name of the book you like. And if you need to cite this book, the Archer Library will provide you all of the citation information that you'd need to enter in. So if you were citing a copy of a textbook that's frequently used in this class, would be this here. And you can see down here we have all of the citation information. You have the title, the author, the publisher, the date, any other information you'd need for a reference. And you'd be able to just fill that into a citation generator. Citing that book might look something like this. Author is Evans, A. It was published in 2010. It's called Technology in Action, published by Prentisol. Images and audio and video sources are often more difficult to cite because they tend to be held under higher standards in copyright law. One thing to be aware of is even if you're citing images or videos, you don't always necessarily have permission to use them in the first place. So if you're just saving images off of Google and you're just saying you got this image from here, that still might not be okay. In that regard, we recommend you either stick to using images that you created or belong to the Creative Commons. If you need some images that are in the Creative Commons, a good site we recommend is Flickr, which is found here. When you're citing an image in APA, it's a bit longer of a template. You have the artist's last name and initial again. You have what their role was, such as if they were a painter, a digital artist, a sculptor. The year that the thing you're citing was created, so what year it was drawn maybe. The title of the image, and if you can't find a title of the image, a short description of the image. The type of work, such as if it's a painting, and where you got it from. So The name of the artist, they were a digital artist. They did it in 2018. It was called Funk Mountain. It's a digital image. I retrieved it from this website. Very important, when you're citing an image, just putting a link to the Google search result is not a citation, and you will lose marks for doing that, because Google is not an artist. They did not create the image. They are just pointing to the image. You need to actually go into the site and find the author's information if you want to use an image off of Google. For checkpoint 4, you're going to create a bibliography about Canada. There will be 3 steps. You're going to find and cite 2 web articles about Canada using a web reference format. The articles can be about anything. You can just Google articles about Canada, maybe CTV on top of that to get news articles about Canada, because those are easier to cite. You'll do 2 of those. You're going to find and cite 2 books about Canada using the Dr. Archer Library Quick Find and a book reference format. And again, those can be anything as long as they're about Canada. You'll create a bibliography by copying your for reference into a check4 page. If you don't have a check4.html page, you'll need to create it. When you're finished, you'll have 4 references, 2 web, 2 book.